Hey, how you doing? Austin here. In this NIO update video, I'm going to be updating you on a few things coming around having to do with NIO. I am extremely bullish on this company. I think that this is a $60+ stock inside of 12 months, and from there, the sky is the limit. I own this stock. I am a major fan of the overall EV space. In fact, you name the stock, I pretty much own it. Tesla, XPeng, NIO, Lee, CCIV, and ChargePoint. You can see I'm all about clean energy, and I love it. And I think the reason though is I think that it's going to become even more and more prolific in our world, as in the overall global economy, as well as here in the United States. With that said, what we're going to be covering today about this NIO video is we're going to look real quickly at a 6-month chart, see how the stock is trending. It is trending up. I'll break the news there. And even doing it when the Dow and the Nasdaq are down. So it looks like we are absolutely starting to get back to some bullish times on this. Looks like some of the institutional money and some of the money's coming back into the EV sector and the EV stock, which is a great thing. We're going to look at a piece of information related to NIO. We're going to make sure that we're going to look at their earnings date just to make sure you know that. That's a catalyst coming at the end of this month. And then we're going to wrap up and look at what the analysts think the stock is going to be trading at in about 12 months. So that's what we're going to be covering in today's video. As always, consider this to be a service to you, but this video is for entertainment purposes only. You can see me, I was grappling there what to say. And also, please consider subscribing to the channel, become part of this community. I'm a 30+ year investor, and I have one goal, and that's to help you make more money in the stock market by bringing you videos like this, as well as other videos related to all the major players in EV, as well as other companies outside of that. Additionally, I want to bring you and do bring you videos where I'm talking about stocks that you may not even heard of, stocks that you may not even know that are out there that are great investments. I have a series of videos where I bring you growth stocks that are in massive upward momentum, trading at their 52-week highs. They're trending. You can grab onto those trends and make a ton of money by just following those trend lines up and just putting cash in your proverbial pocket. I show you how to do that with those videos. I also do the occasional penny stock video because I love penny stocks. I view them as just almost like going to Vegas, so they're fun. All right, with all that, let's go take a look at what's going on with NIO in this update video. I think you're going to like what I got for you. So you can see from the 6-month chart that NIO is up 43% overall in 6 months, but really looking at overall trend, you can see that we are finally starting to kind of move back in the positive momentum. I think that a lot of what's going on there is money coming back into the overall EV sector. We had money move out about a month or so ago. It moved out of EV and the high growth stuff. It moved into more traditional investing. And if you look right here, the Dow and the Nasdaq trading down today, dramatically, and you can see that the stock's doing really, really well. Now, what I always like to do when I do these videos is I like to add Tesla. Let's add XPeng, and let's just add Lee in as well and see kind of how they look. And so real quickly, what you're looking at here is the dark blue line is NIO, the aqua line right here, the second one from the top is XPeng, and the yellow kind of orangey looking one is Tesla, and the really dark orange one on the bottom is Lee. There you go. So what am I showing you here? I'm showing you that all of these stocks basically shadow each other. That's my word for it. They shadow each other and they really track to each other. And I really love that, because you can start to see that overall, look, everything is kind of in a similar trend line. Whereas look at NIO again. It's the third line from the top. It's the dark blue one. See how it's starting to trend up, and it's kind of going a little bit against the grain of its peers. You can see that XPeng is just in a little bit of a downtrend in the last day or so. Tesla, a little bit of a downtrend, and Lee is trending up just a little bit as well. Again, I own all these stocks, and I'm a fan of all these companies for different reasons. But I always like to show you this because I think this is very, very relevant. That if you're looking for additional investment opportunities in EV, these are the other main players in addition to CCIV / Lucid. These are the main players, right? And so I always like to show you this because ultimately they do tend to follow the same similar trend lines as each other. All right, let's take a look real quickly in case you didn't know this. NIO's upcoming earning dates is April 29th, so that is approximately 6 to 7 days from now, depending upon when you're watching this video. So that is a major catalyst that is going on out there. I do believe fundamentally some of their earnings and what they're going to say is already built into the share price of the stock. But again, we might see that as a major catalyst and could be looking at some nice bumps up from here on our way upward to higher highs and frankly higher lows. Okay, so let's take a look real quickly at what I've got for you as far as information goes. Again, I bring you these news updates, guys, because I want you to be aware of kind of the news that's out there related to the stock, as well as usually what happens in these news articles is you grab onto one or two little additional golden nuggets and little pieces of information. So again, and there's a couple in this particular piece of information. Okay, so NIO is definitely charging higher in 2021. Yay, I hope so. I'm absolutely a fan of that. They have met impressive delivery numbers. They've met their numbers. They have talked about the fact that there could be the semiconductor chip shortage could impact them in later this year. I think that's already built into the price of the stock because everybody pretty much knows about it. But the stock is definitely moving up. So I always love this. In early 2019, nobody thought the company would make it big. NIO stock traded for only around $6, but hit an all-time high of $66 in 2 years. And the Chinese government and the economy getting back to normal, NIO stock could soar higher. As well as I've said this point blank. NIO seems to be the company that's winning the help from the Chinese government kind of battle more than XPeng and Li, at least as far as what the news coverage has come out. Because there's been major news developments related to NIO winning major contracts with Chinese-backed companies like Sinopec and things like that. Okay, so the company has reported very strong delivery numbers and set the floor on fire at the Shanghai Auto Show. So they had a really good showing there. Okay, so let's take a look closer at the stock. So the stock reached a peak in February. We know this when the share price was at $66. I think we can get back to that level inside of 12 months. I'm not at all concerned about that. I'm not concerned about short-term pullbacks either, guys. I'm really not. I think that, again, I'm viewing this long-term, 12 plus months. Face always itches when I go on video, just part of it. Okay, so the stock's definitely drifted downward. We looked at that. We kind of saw that. Let's get rid of these guys. Get rid of this. Get rid of this. Stock drifted kind of down again. Now, also, I'll point out, just in case you were living in a cave, we had major market correction events right here. The Nasdaq lost about 1,000 points here. We had some definitely about 8 to 9, 10 red days here. So overall, stock has fared fairly well to those overall market correction and market conditions. Okay, we've had chip shortage, product recalls, reduced subsidies. Few reasons for the public to pull the stock downward. Also not mentioned here, we had institutional money, retail money moving out of, and I'm talking about stock investment money, moving out of the stock, all of the EV growth stocks and moving into more traditional investing. That happened. I think that's coming back. Okay, so now NIO stock has shown high volatility in March. I agree. And we've hit that recovery of 35, and now that's in our rearview mirror, and we're moving up. Okay, so awesome news. Okay, so at the Shanghai Auto Show on Monday, NIO unveiled a Power North plant project, which will be executed over the next 3 years. The company is to deploy 100 swap stations, 500 power charger stations, 120 power mobiles, 2,000 power chargers, and more than 10,000 destination chargers across China. Here's the thing, guys. I own XPeng, I own Li, but you don't hear about those two companies making these types of moves, okay? When it comes to the infrastructure for, obviously, keeping cars on the road and charging them, et cetera. Obviously, we know that NIO has got their battery as a service where you can buy a NIO car without a battery, which reduces the price of the car. I say this in every video by $10,000 to $20,000. What nobody talks about in other YouTube videos is the fact that, guys, think about that. If you are somebody in China looking to buy a car, an EV car, and you're like, hey, I could buy a NIO and it's going to literally cost me $10,000 to $20,000 less than, say, a competitor's car, Tesla, XPeng, etc. Although the Tesla is the most popular EV car in China. Then there are definitely a part of the market that's going to go buy that NIO car because it is less. It's $10,000 to $20,000 US dollars less, point blank, right? And so and also I would add into that with their battery as a service, NIO is creating a recurring revenue stream for their business and for us as shareholders. Thumbs up to that, okay? Okay, so this continues to talk about their power stations. This was one of the golden nuggets I thought was really cool. The company aims to have one power station at every 100 kilometers, making it convenient for consumers to drive EVs. That is not a sentence that I had ever seen in any previous of news information that I've ever looked at or brought you guys. I thought that right there was pretty profound. It's a pretty significant and serious statement right there. Okay. NIO's already gained an edge in the industry with the battery swap stations, and it will grab a high market share with the execution of the power plant. Over the next 3 years, the company will certainly hold a strong strategic position in the EV industry. I believe that. I agree with that. Okay. So in less than 3 years, NIO's hit the market producing 100,000 cars. You bet they have. It leaves no doubt the ability that they can consume and produce at a high output level. Okay. They managed to achieve this milestone when the industry has been struggling with chip shortages. We know that. The world was grappling with the pandemic. The fact that they did this in these pretty trying times is a major testament to the management associated with this company. Again, this is not new news. We know about this agreement with Sinopec for the 5,000 swapping and charging stations by 2025. We also know about their 2.0 version of these stations, and it's pretty cool. Again, this is another little golden nugget right here. I hadn't seen this number. Additionally, the agreement also includes the development of batteries as a service and tackling the changing scenarios, the charging scenarios with the experience. There you go. Listen to this. Every station will have 4 cloud computing systems and 239 sensors. Users will be able to complete the battery swap through a single click from their car. I thought that was awesome. That's really, really cool. Okay, so this talks about the partnership. Yeah, it's absolutely strategic, and I think it's infrastructure, massive, big deal. Overall, I'm extremely bullish on this stock. You guys know this, and you know that I think it's going to be a $60+ stock inside of 12 months, give or take. Again, we got to have the market work with us. We got to have some things continue to do well. But remember, NIO's moving into Europe and all that kind of stuff. So let's take a look real quickly before we wrap up. What do the analysts think? The analysts and I agree on this one. This is a $62 stock inside of 12 months. That is a 59% upside. I always like to point that out. That's a 12-month time frame. We've got some analysts thinking it's a high of 81, something it's a low. Again, you can pause if you want to pause the video if you want to take a look at some of these specific analysts and what their actions are. But overall, I'm extremely bullish. The analysts and I agree on this one. Whether you like analysts or not, guys, I use them just as a data point, right? And I just as a check in the box. Yep, we're all usually on the same page. And although they do miss the mark on some companies like Palantir, they've, in my opinion, completely missed the mark on those guys. Okay, so let's wrap up with a few final thoughts. I don't really have a lot more to say. I've been rambling a good amount. I'm bullish. I'm a fan. I believe in the overall EV market globally. Not to mention China, they are absolutely ahead of the United States as it relates to the EV kind of mentality and just building out everything that it takes to put a overall EV climate into a major company like China. The United States has come out. President Biden just announced in the last day or so. Looks like there's definitely going to be some movement in kind of moving the United States closer to getting more EV cars on the road. I've got a video here on the channel that talks about that, so if you want to check that out, go ahead. Overall, again, I'm bullish. I'll see you in the next video down the road, and if you haven't already done so, subscribe to the channel. I'm here for you, 30+ year investor. I want to help you make more money in the stock market. Please drop a like on this video if you haven't already done so. If you got value out of it, let's go make some money.